Don't overthink anything, bro. We're living in the moment. We put in too much work, bro. Have fun today. Let's go. Bring it up, baby. Let's go. Get go, big get go. 3, 1, 2, 3.
What is good? 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 How is everybody doing? How is everybody feeling? It's Monday, but guess what? It ain't no any ordinary Monday. Thankfully, we got some things to talk about. There's some news within the nation. So guess what? I'm here to talk about it. We are here together to talk about it and discuss everybody's thoughts and feelings and opinions about what's going on today in the Red Nation. But as usual, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got not Andy in the building. Shout out to my brother Tavio, Swin, Raider Ruckus, Thor Hanson was good. Yanks was good with you. Thor was good. Bam Bad, Jesse, Khalil. We got Thor again. The numbers, Ed, Chris Gang, Big Lou, 510. What's popping with everybody in the building, man? Shout out to everybody already in here, already 70 deep. EXO was good. Andy was good. Man, what's popping with y'all, man? But listen. Big Lou already on it. He knows I'm on it. Let's talk about the signings, man. But first, shout out to the Raiders. OTAs have officially begun, and there was an unofficial head count today. But guess what? All the stars that people may have been thinking that weren't going to show up showed up. A lot of people showed up now. A little bit interesting, right? There was a couple names that I don't believe were there, and we're going to talk about that as well because, you know, on Friday or Saturday when I did the first live talking about this, there was a name that I had dropped that I really wanted to be there this Monday, and he wasn't there today. So we're going to talk about that as well. Shout out to Valerie in the chat, Desert Raider, Vic Sack, NBD. Who else we got? Junior, Nicholas, the Lone Raider. Arden was popping. Let's see. Told you Gilmore and Badger was, man, I hope not. I'm still holding on to hope, man. I'm still holding on to hope. But let's get straight to it, right? Let's get straight to it. Now, I believe a few of the names that were not there at the practice or the voluntary workouts today was Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Mullen. Those were the two names that kind of stood out to me that were not there. Now, of course, right now it's kind of just strength and conditioning, seeing where people are at with their body weight, and stuff like that, right? But for me, it's a little bit not concerning, but it's a little bit, I don't really know how to say it. Like, it's just, come on, Trayvon. You got to be there, man. The competition is in your room. The best competition is in your room, and that's the cornerback room. Trayvon Mullen, Rock Ya-Sin was there. Anthony Averett was in the building. Who else was there? We had Anthony Averett for sure was in the building. Yeah, dude, we got to be there for that, man. We got to be there for that. Trayvon Mullen, concerning. Thank you right away. It's concerning for sure, but I know on his Instagram, I think he kind of knew that he might have was going to get a little bit of backlash for it. He was posting, he was with his son and that kind of stuff. He was saying father first and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that. I understand that for sure. But Hobbs was there? Okay. But I know for a fact Trayvon wasn't there. And I really, it's kind of disappointing, man, because I wish he was there. You have a lot of competition, a lot of guys. This is his moment, right? To be able to compete for that cornerback one. Coming off of an injury, you want to be able to get back on the field as soon as possible. Obviously, they're not doing a bunch of drills, but you need to get into this playbook. It's a new playbook. You have to be there, but it's okay. It's okay. I understand. For all I know, maybe the trainers told him, listen, stay off for the first week. We want you to be here after the first week, but we want to make sure that your leg is fully healed. So, we got to look at that as well. I'm not going to trade him, Eric. I don't want to trade him. I do not want to trade Trayvon Mullen, but I would definitely feel more comfortable if he was there, right? Because we know what Trayvon Mullen has, and I really wish he was there. But what I love is that the captains, the people that wore that C badge last season, were all there. Derek Carr, obviously a captain. He was there at 3 a.m. Darren Waller was there. Josh Jacobs was there. All these guys that were wearing that C on their chest were there. Crosby, yes, Crosby was there. Chandler Jones was there. I was a bit surprised to see Jacobs there today because Jacobs actually did his training away last offseason. He had his own personal trainer. Gruden touched up on that last offseason, but I was actually pretty surprised to see that. I was pleasantly surprised to see that Jacobs was there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that soon. But a lot of these guys that we just brought in on contracts, guys like Frack Rail, I'm pretty sure some of these guys were already in the building, right? Anthony Averett, the guy that we signed, he was already in the building. So a lot of these guys that we either traded for or signed were already in the building. So that's good. That's good for real. I'm excited, very, very interested to see how much more we can do in the future. We need to get in these books. We need to get in this playbook and really start learning. A lot of this is just walkthroughs, installments. No real drills are happening right now, but at the end of the day, they're going to meet with the trainers to get their goals in terms of weight and, stamina and things like that, right? So we'll see. We'll see what a lot of that will come out a lot sooner. But this is very limited. For right now, it's very, very limited. But what is not limited is the transactions that the Raiders decided to do today. Now, let's get straight into those transactions, right? Now, I'm going to start off with the kind of boring stuff. But the Raiders today decided to release offensive lineman Kamal Seymour, and with them releasing him, they officially announced the signing of tight end Nick Bowers. Obviously, I think right now Nick Bowers is either tight end 3 or tight end 4 on the roster, but announcing that he is officially back is good. But interesting to see that at his expense was an offensive lineman, a position that we feel like needs to be addressed even more. So very interesting that at his expense, we decide to let go of an offensive lineman. And I know a lot of you guys would like to bring in O-line help right now. And I'm with you guys, right? I'd love to bring in a Daryl Williams like right now. But let's get into the next stuff. And this is right here. The Raiders signed edge rusher Tashawn Bauer, 26, 6'6", 250 pounds, appeared in 6 games for the Vikings and Patriots in 2021, recording 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, 3 QB hits, and 15 quarterback pressures. Now, him playing with multiple teams today or last season is not a concern to me. It's just a guy that is trying to find a home where he can, stay and develop, right? Being 26, he's not really old and he's not really young. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how that goes. I'm excited. I feel like he's a guy that can also play that Kyler Frack role where he can play that outside linebacker role. He can stand up. This is more like a familiarity pickup to me, right? He was with the Patriots. You're bringing in another guy that was with the Patriots that can kind of, give some little gems to these guys that are trying to learn the system and have it come to them quite faster. So we'll see. Arkham did autocorrect. Let's see. So how decent this dude that we just signed? He's okay. Now with that, we also got Rodric to sign the tender that they put on him. So Rodric is back. He's a guy that had a tender to where it was very difficult for him to negotiate a contract with another team. I believe he put the ink on the paper today. He signed that tender. He's back with the team. And Rodric is a guy that I actually really like. Ever since he was first here on preseason when we played, I believe it was the Rams preseason, I was loving it. I was loving his energy. He could be a good special teams guy. Not only special teams, I like him more than Dallin Levitt. I feel like he can play that rotational safety role if you need him to. But special teams ace is what I'm hearing and what I want Rodric to be. So very, very excited for that. I'm happy that he officially put pen to paper. He was at the workouts today. So that's also interesting to see as well. He's a guy that might not make the team. Probably not. But we have to remember, he played with the Patriots. They brought him in for a reason. So we'll see. But you're probably right at the end of the day. Because, one thing to look at is right now the Raiders need to add about another 30 more players. The Raiders need to add about another 30 more players before training camp, mandatory workouts. So we need to add about another 30. We're going to add at least 6 I believe, in the draft. There are 5 in the draft. So there's a lot of roles that need to be filled. There's a lot of roles that need to be filled still. So expect some news to be happening. I wouldn't expect it to be as crazy or as it was like 2 weeks ago, but expect names to be popping up and things like that, because we definitely are going to need to fill this roster in a little bit more, right? We need another at least 30 players or so before that mandatory training camp comes around, because you want to have around 70 or 80, and then you want to cut all the way down to that 53. Actually, I think it's 90. It starts at 90. You cut all the way down to 53. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. That had his fire. Appreciate you, Jesse. Was good. Salute to the prolific wasted facts, my guy. Let's see. Teamer's a dog. I really like Teamer's play, and I'm really happy that he's back. And that's not me like putting 10 on the 2, bro. Like, I actually really like Rodric Teamer. I hope that he can take over whatever role that is the Down 11 has. So I'm very happy with that pickup. I'm be honest. Now let's see. Somebody asked about Mo Hurst. Andy, would you go get Mo Hurst, a reunion for Maurice Hurst? I would. I would. He allows depth in rotational pass rushing situations when it comes down to when we're in our nickel, when we're in that 4-2-5. Look, I like it. He's a guy that can get after the quarterback occasionally. I see Wasted bringing up a valid point. He's not good against the run, but at the same time, when he's just a rotational guy that you're going to throw in every now and again, I like him over Vernon Butler. I mean, they play 2 different roles, but I like him. I like Maurice Hurst, and, with him already being in the silver and black before, I'd love to bring him back, but at the right price, right? He's definitely going to have to work for his own job, but I wouldn't mind it. I definitely wouldn't mind it, especially saying that we're going to be in that 4-2-5 nickel defense look quite a bit this year. So you want some good rotation when it comes to these defensive tackles, especially one that can rush. So we'll see. Let's see. Depth, why not? Exactly. That's how I'm looking at it, right? Rotational piece, a guy that you stick in there, not your starter. I would bring him in. I would bring him in for sure. Jags cut Dylan Moses. Do you think more linebacker help? Really, the reason why I don't see the Raiders adding more linebackers is because I really feel like they like the linebackers in the draft. And because the reason why I say is because I love the linebackers in this year's draft, for sure. I like these linebackers in this year's draft, so I'm waiting for it. I'm definitely waiting for it. Let's see. Mo is undersized. Well, he's a pass rusher. He's that pass rushing defensive tackle. So he is going to be a little bit undersized. Yes. Andy Wasted, and you agree? Teamer's an above average or elite player. No, he's not an elite player. But he's young, dude. I think he's only like 24. So very interesting to see that. Let's see. Yo, what up, Andy? The team is looking solid. Glad we brought back Teamer for sure. I think we all agree on Rodric Teamer. And for those of you guys who don't really know him by name, that's number 33. He was playing a lot. He was playing a lot last year. I believe he played in 10 games, started 2 of them. He's a good player. I like him a lot. Our defensive back is going to be in dogfight this year. That's why I really wish that Trayvon Mullen was present today at the voluntary OTAs. I really wanted him to, right? Like, even though you're not on the field, even though you're not going to be doing drills on that green grass, show your face, show that you're committed, show that you want to be in that playbook as soon as possible, right? Because this is the first time the Raiders players are technically eligible to be in that playbook. Before, it was a little bit like you're trying to twist the rules around. So this is the first official day that our players can be in that playbook. And I really feel like, with the complexity or the illusion of complexity that Patrick Graham wants to show when we play defense, I think that you need to be studying that playbook as soon as possible. So that's just what I think. That's my take on that. Trayvon Mullen, definitely, I would have wished that he could have been there, but he's a dad. Not saying that gives him any excuse, but at the end of the day, you want to be with your kids sometimes. You feel me? So I don't really blame him. Let's see. Teamer is great in special teams as well, for sure. Luis says Teamer is trash. I disagree, fam. I disagree. Defensive backs, yes, definitely. Defensive backs is going to be it this offseason. But another thing that I want to get into, right? When you have all these guys that are coming in, showing their face, I want you guys to answer this, right? we had a lot of captains last year. Richie Incognito was voted as a captain because it was like a three-way tie or some shit. Do you think that there's going to be a specific player after this training camp shit is over? Do you think that there's going to be a player that will get that C on their chest of their jersey that wasn't a captain last season? I would love to hear that, and I think I know my answer, but I would love to hear your guys's. Smart players play faster. I mean, when you're able to just go, just react because you know what you're doing on every single scenario 100% right away. That's a fact. That's kind of why Gus Bradley tried to implement that super simplistic defense. But at the end of the day, it's like, there's only so fast you could do it. There's only how fast can you really do it, right? And in that cover three, it's just like you're not doing shit really. Like you're showing your base, you're showing your coverage every single play. Like you're not trying to change anything. So it's a little bit not concerning, but you want to see a little bit more from your defense. Diablo's a guy. Wasted says Chandler Jones Adams. I could definitely see Chandler Jones. Hey Andy, you still have us draft a wide receiver, depending on what receivers are there available. I definitely, a name that I 100% think the Raiders would draft if he's there in the third round is Justin Ross. I 100% feel like if Justin Ross is on the table, we will draft him at pick 86. I think so, for sure. Raider Pete says Diablo or Perryman. I could definitely see Perryman getting a C on his chest. Jones, Devontae, and Diablo. Okay, a lot of people showing Diablo love. That's crazy. Mine would probably be Hunter Renfrow, and not because he's some great player, but he's another guy. He puts his head down, he works. I feel like going into his final year of his rookie deal, the one thing he'll have to do now is become more vocal. And with him becoming more vocal in camp, I think that'll earn him that C on his chest. I think so. Definitely think so. I like that one, Nate Hobbs. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Hobbs ain't been leading off the field. That's a fact. That's true. Players respect Renfro. Yeah, for sure. Foster Moreau. I could see that happening. We'll have to see, right? But a lot of this isn't just like production and how good they play football. It's how well can they lead a team? How well are they? What kind of example are they giving their guys? So there's a lot of stuff in getting nominated and selected as a captain. So yeah, there's that to look for sure. But I want to talk about this as well, right? Usually I would like to do a separate video on this, but I want to discuss this with you guys. And there has been two more players that the Raiders have decided to bring in today for a top 30 visit, okay? And starting off is the Raiders are hosting cornerback from Clemson, Mario Goodrich, for a top 30 visit. Now, Mario Goodrich is 6'1", 194 pounds. In 31 career games for Clemson, he recorded 68 tackles, 5 interceptions, 19 pass breakups, 3 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, and a defensive touchdown. Now, Mario Goodrich apparently, I disagree, but his projection is around late 2 and 3. I really don't see that. But another player that we're interested in seeing, another player at the cornerback position. This is a bunch of cornerbacks that we are bringing in. We brought in a boy from Hawaii. We brought in Marcus Jones for a visit, Kayvon Barnes for a visit, Tariq Woolen for a visit. We brought in so many corners, and there's more yet to come. We've been bringing in a ton of corners for these top 30 visits, which makes me feel that we will leave this draft with a young corner out of college on this roster. And I definitely didn't think that we were going to do that at the beginning of free agency when all of the headlines were connected to Stephon Gilmore being a Raider, right? So very interesting to see that we are extremely interested in possibly bringing in a corner with the draft. On top of it, All the people that we're bringing in for visits are freaking speedsters. They can freaking fly on that football field. So that's something to look at. Shout out to Raider for Life. He says Danny Gray, SMU in the 5th through 7th round. That's a guy that I did a video on, along with other prospects that we met with that day. But Danny Gray is a good football player. He runs a 4.33 in the 40-yard dash. He could fly. He put up about 800 yards this last season. I think around 9 touchdowns. He's a guy that I believe averaged almost 17 yards per reception. So he's a sneaky guy, right? Danny Gray from SMU would definitely be an interesting pickup. And we met with him, right? So there's that to look for as well. But there's a couple other receivers that the Raiders met with. Another one was like Eric Ezukanma, a bigger body, a bigger, style receiver. But some guys. Now, the next player that the Raiders decided to meet with today was a defensive lineman, a defensive tackle with a lot of versatility. He goes by the name of Jaden Peavy, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. In, I believe, how many games did he play? In 49 career games. He had 137 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, an interception, 7 pass breakups, so 7 bat downs, 2 fumble recoveries, a forced fumble in 49 games. That's not bad. That's not bad. And he's a guy that he has a pretty decent upside. He can play that 3-4 edge. He can also play that 4-3-3 technique defensive tackle. He's currently projected maybe 5 through the 7th round. Interesting enough, that's the first defensive tackle that the Raiders have met with. Oh no, that's the second. That's the second defensive lineman, but the first defensive tackle. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But we'll definitely check these out later on, right? What if one of these top 30 visits becomes a guy that is potentially on the roster? That's kind of why I've been trying to put these top 30 visits out there for you guys to learn these players, okay? Shout out to Ed. He says, does anyone think all these recent visits could be smoke screens? Personally, I don't think so. But, Ed, that is very, very smart, right? That is very, very smart. If the Raiders thought that, listen, let's bring in all these cornerbacks, let's bring in all these speedsters, and we don't even want them. Well, it's not that we don't want them, but we're really never planning on taking them. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. But personally, I feel like when you are only limited to meeting with 30 prospects, you're kind of wasting your visits at that point. So that's why I don't think that these are just, it's just smoke and trying to mess up other people's draft boards, thinking that the Raiders might go elsewhere. But it could be that way. It could be that way. I doubt it though, but we will see. We will see at the end of the day. That's a good little food for thought right there. Isaiah Likely, yep, that's a tight end that we decided to meet with. Decent pass catcher, pretty good run blocker. It's kind of weird because with Isaiah Likely, when he lines up in the backfield as a fullback, he's a better blocker as a fullback. But when he's blocking on the line of scrimmage, he isn't so good. So it's kind of weird when looking at Isaiah Likely. He is still a decent, player for sure. But I'm just not too sure how high we would go out and get an Isaiah Likely. Aaron says, what up, King? What's good with you, Aaron? Danny Gray in the 7th. If Danny Gray is there in the 7th, it is phenomenal value. I'd say he go closer probably to like the 4th and the 5th round. But Danny Gray in the 7th, that'd be some phenomenal value right there. That'd be some great value for sure. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's why there's no Mullins. Maybe right away. It's a lot of corners, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, if you are Trayvon Mullen, right, you see them go trade for Rocky Sin, you see them go sign Anthony Averett. You see all the headlines about their linked into talks with Stephon Gilmore, and then you see them bring in a bunch of cornerbacks for top 30 visits. Personally, my mindset is not to shut down and like kind of crawl into a ball. It's more like, all right, I'm gonna show them why they need me here, right? I'm gonna show them who I am. I'm gonna show them what I can give them. So I hope that's not Mullen's mindset, but at the end of the day, we could just be looking too far into this. It's probably just He wants to spend time with his kids. It's not mandatory. Come mandatory time, he's gonna be there. But I'd hope for a little bit more enthusiasm to get back on the field. But that's just me. That's just me. Shout out to my guy BB. He says DeMarco Jackson in the third, Noah Ellis in the fourth, Tyquan Thornton in the fifth, Marcus Jones in the fifth, Jack Cohen in the seventh, and free agency Jabril Peppers and Bradbury, Daryl Williams, Pay DC, and Renfro. That'd be amazing. But let me tell you this: Marcus Jones is going in the third round. Jabril Peppers is with the Patriots. Bradbury would have to get cut, and I agree with Daryl Williams, and I agree with Pay DC and Renfro. But I like what you're thinking. I think DeMarco Jackson III is a little bit of reach, just a little bit. I think you can maybe wait, possibly get him in the fifth round. You'll have to see, but we'll see. We'll see for sure. I would love for that to happen. Tubby says, "Was good. What's up, Andy? Was popping? Was good with you, my boy." I thought Danny Gray was a lot higher. You know what, Tavia? He has that chance, but I think it's that small school thing, right? SMU. Maybe people just aren't giving. Maybe people just aren't giving as much love. That's what I think. Time will tell, most definitely. Didn't Jabril Peppers sign with the Pats? He did. Let's see. Jabril Peppers is with the Pats. Yeah. Yeah. What about EJ Perry, the quarterback? I didn't really see anything on that front that EJ Perry met with the Raiders. I haven't seen anything about that. But if so, he's a guy that'll probably go in the 6th or 7th round. I don't mind EJ Perry. But I didn't really see that. I didn't see that in there for sure. Is it 420? Let's see. I don't care about moving back into the first or second. Let's see. I can totally see this guy's trying to fake people into leaving people on the board for another round. That's like on a different mindset though, Ed. Like I just feel like when you are, it's smart. It's smart, and that's why I'm kind of conflicted with this, right? Because I totally understand your point. I totally understand it. But for the Raiders to be bringing in players on a limited, you only get 30 visits. So for the Raiders to bring in over 5 cornerbacks, that's what's that on percentages? Like 10% maybe? Nah, that's more. It's more. It has to be more. I don't know what the percentage is, but 7 or whatever percent of your visits go to a specific position. I don't think that the Raiders wouldn't bring those guys in unless they actually had real interest. So we'll see. That's 20%. That's 20%. Yes. Nah, hell no, I don't think so. What about trade up to the Bengals 34th pick and grab Kyer Lamb out of Florida? I'll tell you one thing. Shout out to my brother Ray the Tape. Ray the Tape would probably love that shit. He would probably love that. We'll see. We'll see. But isn't that some Bill Belichick? You know what? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I don't think we've ever, I don't follow the Patriots to be able to tell you, but I don't think the Patriots ever did shit like that. It's possible though. It is definitely possible, for sure. I just don't. That's 20% of your. Yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't see it, man. Oh, I don't see that happening, man. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I do not. Andy, how excited are you for Trayvon Merrick's sophomore season? I'm very excited for a lot of these guys' sophomore season, right? I kept saying this before the season started. I said that by the middle or a little bit earlier of the season, Divine Diablo was going to take one of our linebackers' jobs. And it happened. And it freaking happened. And I thought that it was going to be Nicholas Morrow's job that he was going to take, but Nicholas Morrow didn't play. But I kept saying that Divine Diablo before the season, he was going to take one of our linebackers' jobs. And he did. I think that Trayvon Merrick is going to be a superstar, but I'm more excited for how much more Divine Diablo, how much more he develops. I'm very, very excited to see that, right? Because we may have gotten a potential sideline to sideline linebacker with decent coverage ability in the third round. That's hard to do. Teams have done it, but that's very, very good value. That's very good value. So I think that Divine Diablo, I'm very excited for him. I think that Trayvon Merrick will, now that he'll actually get used properly, um, will just, turn into what we all thought he was going to be. He already had a good year, but I think that he'll just explode onto the scene, kind of like how Javon Holland exploded onto the scene this year, right? He went into a defensive scheme, defensive minded franchise, and he was able to kind of explode onto the scene. I think that Trayvon Merrick will do that, but I think that Divine Diablo is the guy that I'm most excited to see for sure. But at the end of the day, we'll have to take it, one step at a time for sure. Uh, let's see. Reports saying Raiders, Pats, Saints showing interest in Dylan Moses. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I would take Dylan Moses for sure. I always say this: competition brings the best out of people. Pressure makes diamonds. You want every single spot to be like, okay, this man earned it because we brought in 6 other people at his position. He came out on top. So I'm all for competition. I'm all for it. So if you do it, let's do it, man. You think you're most excited to see Cleveland Furrow? Cleveland Furrow is definitely a guy that could finally find his own in this situation here with Patrick Graham. It's just a little bit. It's just kind of sad, right? Because he's on his last year of his deal. Same thing with Jonathan Abram. And shout out to Jonathan Abram and Cleveland Furrow. They were both there at today's practice. Curtis Williams says, "Do you think the right side of the offensive line is an issue we need to address?" I think that they began to address it, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty good at reading when people are confident, and when Josh McDaniels spoke about his thoughts about the offensive line, I don't think that was him just talking out the ass. I actually feel like he had confidence in what his boy Carmen Marcillo can do for a guy like Jermaine Illuminar, who's only 27 years old. Or he's confident in what he could do in developing Brandon Parker a little bit more. Although Brandon Parker, I really don't like him at the right tackle position. But maybe he's really, really interested in possibly getting a crack at, moving Alex Leatherwood back to the position he was drafted for. And once you go out and you get that, like if you go out and you're able to get the best out of Alex Leatherwood, put him at tackle, and now you have a great right tackle, it's your offensive line is much more sorted out. So I think that Josh McDaniels, he does have full confidence in what his coaching staff can do with these offensive linemen. Do I have full confidence? Not really. And that's not me not having confidence in the coaching staff. That's me not having confidence in the player. Like, I really don't like Brandon Parker. I don't. But what I will say is that after the draft, if we don't address in the draft, there's a lot of guys that are on rosters that will be cut because of their teams drafted somebody to replace them. Maybe the contract just isn't there yet. So we'll see. We'll see. But there'll be some options, right? Right now, Daryl Williams is probably the best offensive tackle option. And he has that versatility to kick in and kick out. He's a good player. I would love to bring him in. Let's see. Clean Abram probably need to shine the most this year. If they want to be with the Raiders and they want to get another contract with the Raiders, yes, Cleveland Furrow, Jonathan Abram needs to shine. I think that out of that draft class, though, so in that draft class, we had Jacobs, Klee, and Abram in the first, Trayvon Mullen in the second. I think Isaiah Johnson was in the third round. Fourth round, I believe, was Max. Fifth round was Renfro. Sixth round, I don't remember who was our sixth round pick, and I believe our seventh round pick was Quentin Bell that year. So, there's certain things there, but I think that if they want a second contract with the Raiders, this is the year that they kind of need to ball out. But at the same time, not getting their fifth year option, which there's still time. There is still time to pick up their 5th-year option. I believe it's not until May. But something to look at, right? Do you think that Cleveland Furrow and Jonathan Abram, if they had good years, do you think that with them being free agents, because we didn't pick up their option, do you think that they would come back and choose the Raiders? Do you think so? Do you think so? I think, Cleveland Furrow, he obviously has the shield tatted on him. But let's say you do not. No, Isaiah Johnson was a 3rd-round pick. Isaiah Johnson was a 3rd-round pick. But you think Cleveland Furrow would come? I think that Cleveland Furrow would come back if he had a good year, and it'd be interesting, right? But how would you feel if the team that you're on didn't pick up your 5th-year option, then you have a good season, and then now they want you back? It's kind of like they give. Yeah, see, Ed, like they might get in their feelings. So we'll see. That's kind of the only crappy part about this situation, right? It's because like Clee, Abram, sadly they haven't shown enough to get that 5th year picked up. But if they have good years, you want to bring back your homegrown guys. At that point, are they ready to move on, especially after you didn't pick up their 5th-year option? So it's kind of tough. I definitely think that Josh Jacobs, he comes back regardless. Regardless of circumstance, whether you pick up his 5th-year option or not, I think that he'll come back. But it's a little bit interesting. It's a little bit tough. But it is a conversation that is going to be had, needs to be had. Let's see. You think BB says, I think Clee would come back. I hope Abram does not. Abram is garbage. So even in the scenario where I said that Abram has a good year, he's still garbage. Shout out to BB, man. XO says, I think Clee, if he finds his footing, he will stay. I don't see him trying to adjust again. That's a good point. See, now that's a good point. And that's why I like doing these lives, man, because y'all bring your own opinions. That's a very valid point. He says, I think Abram sees that I'll prove it, then come back. I hope he sees it as that. I hope he does. Do you think Jacob Johnson opens up more paths for Jacobs and Kenyon Drake? He looks solid in the blocking. Short and sweet, yes. I think that he will open up a lot of lanes for those two at the running back position. He is a better run blocking. He's just a better overall blocking tight. I was about to say tight end. He's overall a better blocking fullback than what we had in Ingold. That's just what the statistics show. So I think that he'll definitely open up some lanes. I just hope that what we're going to miss with Ingold's versatility, I hope that Kenyon Drake can be healthy the entire year, and he can be healthy, and he could, fill that role up that void that Ingold will leave behind. Andy, read Mullen's new tweet. Oh man, let's check out Trayvon Mullen's new tweet. What the fuck? What's his Twitter? Careless what anybody think, feel, or say about me. One life to live. Why waste energy? There's one end goal. So that's his new tweet. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of Raider fans were probably him messaging him and stuff like that on why he wasn't at practice. But like I said, man, it's not mandatory, and he feels like he needs to spend time with his kid. I can understand that. Right? Like it's not mandatory at the end of the day, So I don't blame him. Would I have loved for him to be there? Absolutely. I would love for Trayvon Mullen to be there at the practice. But if he is valuing his time with his son more right now, I can understand that. 3-4. He says, I think they will come back, new regime, so they know it's not personal. They got to see them play for themselves before making a decision. That's a very good point, Reddit for Life. That is a very, very good point. He says, I'm going to do a mock draft and tell you what I get for sure. Just drop it in the chat. Hopefully it's not boom boom. What? Shitty, it's not boom boom. He says, yeah, I mean, let's see. Oh, the Raiders didn't pick in the sixth round in 2019. They had 2 fourths that year. They got Morrow. Okay, there you go. There you go. Shout out to Aaron. I was like, I don't know who they picked in the sixth round. And the reason why is because we didn't pick in the sixth round. Shout out to my brother Aaron, man. It's the first day. I don't think we should overreact. I agree with that, Aaron, for sure. So yeah, he's gonna have plenty of time with his kids if he gets cut. See, I don't want to be that hard on the man, you know. I don't want to be on that hard on the man because at the end of the day, big word is voluntary, right? It's voluntary. He does not have to be there, right? But of course, as fans, we want to have the biggest competitive edge heading into the season, and having 90% of your guys in the building is very, very good for team morale, team building, continuity, all that kind of stuff. So you would love for as many guys to be in the building as possible. But I wouldn't want to do that, right? I wouldn't want to say that because, value. He literally said that family's first, right? Or fatherhood is first. That's what he said. Let's see. If it's family, then he gets a pass. I can understand that. It is what it is. Jan didn't show up last year, if I remember correctly. Yannick Ngakoue wasn't there for the first 2 weeks, I believe. And then he went out and he practiced for the first time. He went out and practiced for the first time. So he says, who didn't show? Trayvon Mullen didn't show. I believe Darius Phillips did not show, the other corner that we signed. Man, I wish that there was a head count. I wish that guys like Victor Fur would have been able to get a head count on what happened, but I don't know. Glenn, wait, what happened? Glenn then donate so we can get Andy a quality streaming PC. What happened? Is it not working? Hate to say this, but your internet sucks. You freeze and echo. Is it freezing right now? Is it freezing right now? Oh shit! Hold on. Let me see something. Hold on. I didn't know it was freezing right now. Let's see. Voluntary isn't always viewed as such, though. Yes, for sure. Let's see. A little just stutters, lagging. Is definitely glitchy. Yup. Yes. You look solid. It's good. Yeah, I don't know. I had a tab open. I had Instagram open, but I don't know. It's their shit ass Wi-Fi, not yours. I don't know. I didn't know that it was lagging. I appreciate y'all for telling me though. Leon says, if y'all job says you don't have to show up but can, more than half of y'all would not go in. Low, stop the cap. You're not lying, Leon. You're not lying. You're not. Because I definitely wouldn't show up. But it's voluntary, so it's like there's that to look at as well, right? But we're fans of a team that wants our team to do as best as possible. So I get it. For sure. But these guys have families, like they're humans too, right? So I could definitely understand it. But I also understand both sides. Let's see. If your job is on the line, then you gotta go. If it's emergency, okay, I'm all for being with family, but all the vets are there and your competition. That's why I was kind of just like, it's like, is this the time that you really want to be valuing other things above your job, right? Because it's like, it's kind of tough. It's a tough scenario, man, for sure. For sure, it's tough. It is tough. If one goes, all goes. It's looking way better now after you close IT. Okay. I didn't know that was a thing. Shit. My bad. Y'all should have told me, bro. If it's lagging, tell me. Man. But yeah, I definitely understand your guys', it's not frustration, but your guys' thoughts and opinions on Trayvon Mullen not being there. But Keyword facts, Leon. Voluntary for sure. DC was at facilities before the sun came up. He was. I think they said something like 3 in the morning. Now that's crazy. I don't know if DC had like some janitorial work to do. I don't know if DC was out there opening up the facility for everybody. But I don't know what the hell he was doing being there at 3 in the morning. Like, damn, were the coaches even there? Like, who the fuck was there at 3 in the morning? But shout out to DC, man. Shout out to DC. Let's see. Yes, working. Pretty sure. All right, there we go. DC on Mamba time. That I don't know what time he's on. I don't know if he forgot to change the clock for daylight savings or what. 3 in the morning, but I was knocked out like all of y'all. And if y'all wasn't knocked out, I hope that you guys can get some good sleep tonight, man. Here at 3 because Max get there at 4. I'm liking that right there, White Tyson. I like that right there. DC is a hustler. DC in a facility at 3 in the morning on on that Gruden grind. I'm weak. Y'all funny, bro. Let's see. It said it's working a lot better. Bet. All right. Guess I just got to keep the tabs closed. But definitely, I should be getting an upgrade on the computer though, because I'm just doing it on the computer. He says, was all the coaches in the building today? So Big Lou, that's actually a good question because this week was when the voluntary workouts begun for players. Last Monday was when the OTA started for coaches. So I don't think that this was voluntary for the coaches. I think that all the coaches had to be here. I think that last week was voluntary. I think that last week was voluntary for those coaches, but Monday it began for the coaches last week. This Monday was for the players this week. So we'll see. DC haters were sound asleep at 3 a.m. That boy trying to get that extension. You feel me? That boy trying to get that bag. He said, you know what? Max getting paid more than me on average. Let me get that bag, man. You feel me? So DC there at 3 in the morning. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Maybe he was turning on the lights at the facility or what. But I don't even think he had one person to talk to at 3 in the morning besides the janitor, maybe. Damn, I don't know what he was doing there. But shout out to him. Obviously, there was photographers there to see him. So that's cool. Let's see. So when it's rookie camps, do the rest of the team not show up? So I believe it's 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks for the rookie mini camp, or maybe it's just 1 week. It's either 1 or 2 weeks for the rookie mini camps. But yes, to answer your question, nobody shows up besides the rookies and coaches. You can have players in the building, but usually that rookie mini camp is times that people take vacation because you're off. You're off, right? You're off for that time. And when the rookie mini camps start, then you have I think it's like a month or a month and a half where there's nothing. So, it's a little bit tricky, but I think it's a week or two. The photographer be sleeping there, no cap. Probably that boy was just sleeping, heard the gates open. Like, bruh, he was, hey, shout out to the photographer, bruh, just waiting on DC to enter. That's crazy. Let's see. Was cracking Andy? Shout out to you from Glendale, Arizona. Damn, from the AZ. I fucks with Arizona, man. I would move out there, but then it's just like, nah. It's like, man. But it's like I don't know how I'm gonna do with that dry heat, man. Vegas. Whew. I don't know. PFF sucks. He doesn't sleep needs DC. I'm just astonished on the fact that boy was there at 3 a.m. Like, bro, you have nobody to talk to at 3 in the morning, bro. Like, what are you doing? I don't know how I got Kirby Joseph. I like Kirby Joseph. Don't come to AZ. It's hot. We in KC over here. Josh, I love that. Raiders flag in KC. I love that, Josh. Everybody in the chat, if you don't mind, drop where you guys are viewing from because I'd love to see. That's always super dope. We got KC. We had Arizona. I know a couple people in here around the same area as me, so that's dope too. DC being there that early and it being voluntary is showing everyone he is bringing a leader for sure, 110%. It's hot out there, my boy. No lie, Raider Nation is deep out there, out here. Oh, my boy Rudy there too. Bet. I'm moving to surprise AZ. Rudy will have some hit games for sure. That's fire. We stay in AC and AZ. That's fire. AZ, Sonora, California. Yay, area. Shout out to my brother Aaron in Vegas with it. That's dope. So Kyrie, did you move to Vegas once the Raiders moved to Vegas, or were you in Vegas and you were just fucking excited as hell when the Raiders moved out there? Compton, my brother Leon Duggan, Florida in the East Coast, my brother, man. So you out here 10:50, almost 11. I appreciate you, Ed. Santa Cruz, Desert Raider, and AZ, home Cali, but live in Alaska. Holy shit, Bearded Goon, that's crazy. El Raider, Waller showed up to shut them rumors up. Facts. That's a fact, man. He said, hold on. A lot of shit being spoken on my name, and I don't like that. You know what? Let me go out and dead all that bullshit. I'm gonna go to the voluntary joints. But Waller's another guy that he's probably trying to get paid. And if he wants to get paid, these voluntaries ain't voluntary. You know? Denver, Seattle, I love it. In rival territory. I'm with it, man. Louisiana, dope. Let's see. I never heard of this part of Cali. At first, I thought that said, the fuck? I never heard that part of Cali, bro. Saying he's astonished. Facts, bro. I took that page out of Wasted's book. Wasted's book, each time I said I took that page out of Wasted's book, just know that the book I'm talking about is a fucking dictionary. Fresno, that's what's popping, bro. North Cadillac, Cackalack. North Cackalack. Whew. Shit, that must be far. El Paso, Texas, TMZ. Damn, we got hella motherfuckers dropping their location. That's fire, man. San Diego, Fresno, Nevada, fire. Let's see, North Louisiana, Denver. Yes, I love it. In enemy territory, man. I'm loving that. Toronto, Canada. Maryland, another East Coast. That's what's up, man. I'm loving it. North Carolina. Oh, that's North Carolina? I knew it. It had to be far, right? It had to be far, right? Napa, California. Hey, Robert, were you at the camps when it was out there in Napa? Were you out there in the camps? You in the town? I'm in Oakland, brother. In the crib. In the town. I'm in Oakland, bro. Born and raised. Yes, sir. Salt Lake. Salt Lake is that Seattle or Washington? Or I could be wrong on both. Saludos desde Mazatlán, Sinaloa. Shout out to my guy Jose in the building. It's North Carolina, bet. Idaho. Damn. Where you go to high school? I already graduated, my brother. Utah. Shit. Utah. I had a homie. He was getting recruited by BYU, but he said, "Nah, too many Mormons." Nah, I'm playing Curtis. He says, "Okay, I did a mock draft and I got Kirby Joseph in the third, Zach Tom in the. I don't like that. Everybody, look, Zach Tom. I believe he's from Wake Forest. Good prospect. I think PFF is ranking him too high. Zach Tom in the fourth." Traded up and got Cordell Flaw out of LSU, I believe. Noah Ellis out of Idaho. Nephew Sewell in the fifth. Malachi Carter in the seventh. That's not a bad draft. What did you give up to trade back into the fifth? Or yeah, what you use to trade up? What'd you use to trade up, BB? San Bernardino, yes. Let's see, repping Raiders from Oregon. I'm loving that. Oh, Salt Lake is Utah? Oh, I'm tripping. What the hell? I don't know why I thought that was like, what the fuck? Do I know anybody that was on Last Chance U at Laney? Personally, no, but I know a lot of people that are at Laney right now. I know a lot of people that are at Laney, and they go to City too. I know a lot of people that go there. I know a lot of people that play for Laney right now, but when they were on Last Chance U, off the top of my head, oh, I do. It was the cornerback, not cornerback. What's his name? Fuck. I played with his brother, so I know him. His last name is Kimate. He was on there. He had a little bit of screen time, so I did get to see a little bit. I did. Let's see. What up, Andy? Was good. EJ, what's popping with you, my brother? Let's see. The Raiders are getting very familiar with Utah. Okay. Laney is different. Laney is. What you mean by that? Like, it's different. Like, I mean, yeah. 2022 4. So you gave up a 2022 4 to trade back up. That's not bad. That's not bad right there. Did you ask if I was here when the Raiders were here? The answer is yes. No, Robert, what I asked is, oh, no, what I asked Robert was, did you move to Vegas when the Raiders moved to Vegas, or were you already in Vegas before the Raiders moved there? Oh, their football team is tough. Their football team is low key like, eh. It's like, eh. They got a lot of like people that think the team is all about them. I don't fuck with that. But yeah, it is what it is. No, yeah, but that's what I meant, Robert. Shout out to Sultan in the chat. San Bernardino in the building. A lot of goats coming from the San Bernardino. There's a lot of Raider Nation family in Utah. That's what's up. That's what's up right there. That's what's up. Let's see. But yeah, you guys, we ran down a lot of the Raiders news today. When it came down to the Raiders releasing Kamal Seymour at the offensive line position, re-signing Rodric Teamer, he signed his tender. We talked about the Tashawn Bowers signing. We also talked about bringing in, Mario Goodrich out of Clemson for a visit, as well as Texas A&M defensive tackle, as well, Jaden Peavy for a visit, right? So we talked about a lot of the stuff that went on in the nation today. So we'll definitely see a lot of more news coming. Hopefully tomorrow we get an official head count of all the people in the building, because today it's kind of just like, there's over 60 players. I don't really know where the rest are at. But like I said earlier on, the Raiders need to fill at least another 30 more spots. So expect the Raiders to have a good amount of transactions coming in the near future. Obviously, 5 of those spots will be filled in the draft, but the Raiders need about another 30. They want to get up to 90 so that when training camp comes around, you go from 93 to, I believe, 85. And then from 85, you go all the way down to 70. And then from 70, you take that big cut. So we'll see. We'll see with that. But you guys, that is the end of today's live. Shout out to Lewis. He says, how are you doing today? I'm Lewis Roses, and I'm a Raiders fan. Who is your least favorite Raiders player on the team right now? My least favorite player is Foster Moreau. My least favorite player on the team right now, I only have one. Probably Vernon Butler. I just don't like I just don't like him. But yeah, it is what it is. No. Brandon Parker, least favorite. But yes, as usual, you guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you for tuning in today. I'm glad we had 200 of you guys in here on a slow day. Not much to talk about. I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. I hope you guys are here tomorrow with me, because we will be here again. But at the end of the day, y'all, I will see you tomorrow. It's another week, another Monday. We gonna get through it, man. We gonna get through it. Let me just finish out this last one. He says, I don't like Abram. You going? Nah, man. Nah. Great show. Red Nation for life. 51 years. Damn. Have a good day. Great show. Appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all. And I'm out. Peace.